50.1 million followers across social media platforms, 23.6 million followers on YouTube without being as active as he used to be. You've probably heard WWE call Logan Paul a social media megastar, and he certainly is with the following he commands. Love him or hate him, he hasn't been handed anything and is as self-made as it gets in the world of celebrities that have been increasingly filled with handouts and nepotism. He's made big waves in WWE, with many already calling him among the best wrestlers on the roster. But apart from a handful of Raw appearances and a few matches a year, what is it that makes him such a draw outside of the world of wrestling? Let's go back to the earlier days of Logan Paul and see why and how he became the megastar he is today. Logan Paul and his younger brother Jake Paul were both natural athletes in high school, with Logan being an amateur wrestler in high school as well as a football player, and Jake even once had dreams of playing in the NFL. Their father made his living as a roofer while their mom was a nurse, but both of them had a goofy sense of humor, which is likely what gave their kids the personality that they have today. Logan Paul's father gifted him and Jake a camera to record their football practice sessions, but they used it to create a YouTube channel named Zoosh instead, where we saw them do things like prank calls and public dances, with the channel quickly gaining attention. The channel is deleted now, but you can still find a lot of the old content on YouTube. But little did they know that it would be the start of a truly Gen Z path to public stardom. It was the now defunct app Vine that turned into Logan Paul's big launching pad to stardom. You know how TikTok prioritizes short form content? Vine did that way back in the day, keeping a 6-second limit for their videos. But it didn't take long for Paul to become successful and garner hundreds of thousands of subscribers at first, before it turned into the millions within a year. He even competed with his brother Jake in separate channels, but by 2015, Logan had millions of more followers than Jake, making it clear who the more popular brother was. He attended Ohio University after high school and gained more fame on the internet by posting daily videos of his life thanks to his college roommates who served as the cameramen. While a major in industrial engineering and a minor in film studies would have been stable, he knew way back then that he could not miss the opportunity to become a big internet star. Vine certainly knocked down a lot of doors for him, and his clean-cut, family-friendly, and unique content allowed him to charge 5 figures for 6-second sponsored videos, which meant that he was taken care of fairly well financially. His YouTube channel wasn't too well established, but he soon had all bases covered and jumped from a few hundred subscribers to over 1 million. A decision that paid off big because Vine eventually shut shop in 2015, while his YouTube channel became a business in itself. The pranks genre is probably the best example of how he's risen to the top by capitalizing on trends of the time and using his platform to further his popularity. This was when Logan Paul truly took off as a brand, and he wanted to expand his horizons to various forms of entertainment, including Hollywood. But he seemed to be unable to find the same levels of success for 2 big reasons. 1, he was mainly good at being himself, and 2, others found it hard to see him as anybody else but himself. That's probably why you might see he has a fairly thin resume in Hollywood with little success. It turns out that social media was where he truly thrived, and he capitalized on that, but in 2017, he suffered his biggest controversy to date. It's one thing for people to dislike Logan Paul because he may come across as brash and annoying, but the Suicide Forest incident changed a lot for him. To give you a summary, Logan Paul filmed and posted a video in Japan's infamous Suicide Forest, with the clip featuring a censored corpse of a man who killed himself. The video immediately got millions of views and also immediately resulted in the biggest backlash he faced in his entire career. He instantly got labeled as a controversial figure and got a verbal whooping from every possible side, whether it was from fans, fellow YouTubers, celebrities, politicians, and eventually YouTube themselves. He was slammed for his lack of sensitivity towards suicide victims and had to issue a written apology before putting out a video where he infamously stated, "I made a severe and continuous lapse in judgment." The consequences were immediately felt as YouTube first temporarily demonetized his channel before he was pulled from various shows and musicals, while other projects were also put on hold. In all fairness to Logan Paul, he said that he was treated fairly in the aftermath of the suicide forest video and donated $1 million to different suicide prevention organizations. Following that, he went on a redemption arc to clean up his image, and it worked. For a couple of months until he made another insensitive video about giving a fish CPR and tasering dead rats. Come on, man. He went into YouTube jail again and was put on a probation period. It was also around this time that he decided to venture into the world of boxing and began a feud with fellow YouTuber KSI. The fight turned out to be a draw, but it was such a big hit that it essentially began the trend of YouTube celebrity boxing, while it also launched an extremely successful career in the sport for his brother. The KSI feud ended over a year after their first fight when he lost to the Brit by split decision in a rematch. With the rivalry behind him, they probably didn't realize that they would end up being partners in an extremely successful business. For Logan Paul, 2018 was a turning point because apart from just boxing, he launched his Impulsive podcast as well, something that still remains a huge hit to this day. Remember how we mentioned that he made a career out of following trends? With UFC's popularity thanks to names like Conor McGregor having a trickle-down effect on combat sports, he capitalized on it with his boxing stints. Although boxing itself was losing popularity, the McGregor-Mayweather super fight and influencer fights helped the sport remain lucrative. He did the same with the podcast boom in the late 2010s. Add that to a more cleaned up image, and he used all of this to expand his brand on social media and earned in the hundreds of thousands for each post. Sheesh. 2021 essentially saw an end to his boxing career after his exhibition bout against the legendary Floyd Money Mayweather. While he stood his ground, it seemed clear that Mayweather was simply coasting for a good payday, which it certainly was for both men. But it became an issue when Logan Paul had to threaten to sue Floyd Money Mayweather for not getting millions of dollars in base pay and pay-per-view revenue. A couple months before that fight, Logan Paul made his WWE debut and accompanied Sami Zayn to the ring for his match against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 37. Given Logan Paul's athletic background and the fact that he is a natural entertainer, he seemed to realize that WWE was a much better fit for him than boxing. This was definitely a decision that paid off big when he had his first match at WrestleMania 38 in 2022 and stunned the WWE Universe by instantly becoming the greatest celebrity to ever wrestle for the company. It came with little surprise that he signed a contract with WWE a few months later, giving him a lucrative part-time deal where he wrestled every few months. This time, WWE capitalized on his momentum and the trend of his influencers gaining popularity to cash in on him. And if you followed Logan Paul in WWE, you know just how big of a hit he's been. Whether you love him or hate him, he knows how to get eyes on him, and every match he's had so far has had one viral moment or the other. And that's not any coincidence. Logan Paul knows the value of social media impressions and caters to the younger audience by giving them must-see moments. In just a little over a year and 5 matches into his career, not only has he become one of the most must-see superstars on the roster, but he continues to expand his personal brand by doing so. There's no doubt that the WWE is ultimately going to be a pit stop in the larger picture of his career, but it's turned out to be a mutually beneficial agreement that allows fans to see a different side of him. While all this has been happening, Logan Paul and KSI became the face of the now ultra-popular Prime drink, started by Congo Brands. Although it's been marketed as a drink created by the two influencers, they have a generous 20% share as the main promoters. And if you've seen Logan Paul's content, you know that he has a clear incentive to drive up the sales of Prime, something he and KSI have done with immense success. The Gen Z targeted marketing has worked and in a way helps cement him as an icon of this generation and a somewhat polarizing one. His ability to promote Prime has led to people literally fighting in supermarkets to get the drink when it was limited edition and giving it a special status without people ever really talking about how it tastes. The WWE tie-up gives him an additional millions of people to promote the drink and himself to, and subsequently helps his growing business empire. What do you think of Logan Paul as a wrestler and an entertainer? Let us know what you think in the comments section below.